Hi everybody, welcome back to Black Book Stacks. So, of course in my neighborhood it is loud as soon as I press record, but nonetheless, happy June, or whenever in the future you'll be watching this. I wanted to do a video about She Would Be King by Waiyetu Moore. Not sure if I said her name correctly, but this is a story of a number of characters who are basically superheroes, and I believe that it is loosely based on the history of Liberia and Monrovia, although I don't honestly know enough about the histories of those places to know if it is based on truth, how much of it is based in truth and how much of it is fictionalized. But the parts that are deeply fictional include characters who are bulletproof, and that was something that really stayed with me, especially in this time when we're seeing a resurgence of the kind of police brutality and state-sanctioned violence that we have seen. So I've had the book for over a year now, and received multiple copies, so I was thankful for that. Thank you, Grey Wolf Press, for allowing me to read, to get a glimpse of the book. I feel like I wasn't quite ready for it. It gets off to kind of a slow start. We have a main character who essentially is cast aside and shunned because she has bright red hair. She kind of has the mark of a witch, and she's sort of cast aside by the people in her community, in her immediate community, and left to die, but she doesn't. So she's sort of immortal, which we begin to get a glimpse of as we go through the book. There are other characters who have similar traits. They have superhuman strength. There's a character who can become invisible, essentially. And what I love the most about the book is the way that we get a glimpse of what is possible for these characters without it being overdone. I think it's extremely hard to do when you have, for example, whenever we, I think in pop culture, have read like slave narratives, we see, when I think of something like Django Unchained, which apparently a lot of people are watching now, because my nephew was watching it, and then, you know, my partner was watching it. It's like, okay, so everybody's watching it now. But when you look at Django, one of the things that was cool about it is that it changes the power dynamics between what you normally expect to happen in a slave narrative based on what we know about history, and what actually unfolds. And it's sort of told from the perspective of a little known aspect of history that normally is just ignored. So She Would Be King is a lot like that. You know, it's the concept of the title is based on, you know, the idea that if the main character that we follow from sort of rags to riches were a man, she would be king. But because she isn't, she has these other ways of coming to power that arguably are more influential, depending on how you look at it. So it was a nice read. I think especially in this time, it's not that long, maybe about 300 and something pages. There are alternating points of view. There's sort of a spirit guide who's kind of like, you know, in the African tradition, like a chi, like your higher self, or like kind of a guardian angel who also has a role in the book. Isn't necessarily a narrator or even the omniscient narrator, but is something kind of on a parallel track with that. And so that was also kind of cool, although at times it became a little confusing to know what prompted that voice to appear in the narrative. But anyway, I understand that Miss Moore has her memoir coming out. I believe it's this summer. So I'm excited to read it and kind of compare and contrast some of the aspects of this novel, which is so lovely and so beautifully written, with her actual life story. So I hope that if you've read She Would Be King, that you'll share what you think about it. So I'm sure the paperback is out by now, since I think it came out in 2018. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And if you've had a chance to preview the new book, the memoir, love to hear your thoughts on that too. And if you're a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. It's so nice to be starting here on BookTube. And yeah, look forward to sharing and hearing more of your thoughts about books as we move into the summer. And until next time, be well.